Okay.
Welcome. Today I'm with Dr. Tanda Cook, and she is going to be sharing with you some information about transforming your life and your health. She is an awesome naturopathic doctor, and she lives in Bozeman, Montana. And I have had the pleasure of reading her book, Food That Grows, which is awesome. She has a great blog that has helped me several times. And she has also helped every member of my family get well from something. So she really is a wealth of knowledge. And Tanda, we just want you to thank you for sharing with us today, and sharing with everybody your knowledge and what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is let me throw the make you the host. And yes.
Awesome.
Okay, see if you've got it.
Great. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Yes, thank you so much. And this is the first time I've done a webinar, so I am, new to technology. And I'm going to walk you guys through. We've got a bunch of slides to go through, so I'm going to kind of buzz through this pretty quickly and kind of try and keep it under 30 minutes, but we'll see what happens. So, Melanie, everything's working, right? Okay. So what you'll walk away with today, just to set the intention for you guys, is really walk away with the fact that, understanding that you have choice in everything in your life, right? From what goes on your skin, what goes in your mouth, and what you're doing on a daily basis. And even when you think you don't have choice, you do. Also to see Arbonne as a solution for many areas of your life, and I'll walk you through my relationship with Arbonne, and then a fun food fact, just because that's my favorite subject. I am a naturopathic doctor, and just so we're all on the same page, naturopaths are trained as general care practitioners. So instead of becoming experts in drugs and surgery, we become experts in alternative therapies, like herbal medicine, homeopathy, lifestyle medicine, massage, chiropractic, IV therapy. There's a huge toolbox in terms of how we can treat people. And like the tenets that naturopathic medicine is built on is several. And the two that really got me into naturopathic medicine was doctor is teacher, right? So doctor means teacher. And this is the worst advertising for me, but you don't need me. And ultimately, I see my job as educating you into learning how your body works and how to add health on a daily basis, and how Arbonne can fall into that. And then following nature's laws, which we will go over. So as I said, I'm a naturopathic doctor. I'm a food expert. I am not a nutritionist. So if you want to know how many calories to eat, I'm not your girl. I will teach you how to eat food and to pay attention to your body and to eat consciously. I'm a life and health coach. And I use the word coach because what do coaches do? Right? They stand on the sideline and they watch. I'm a soccer player. So they stand on the sideline and they coach you into being your best player, right? The coach doesn't go out and play the game for you. They coach you into being your best self on the field. And I can see the entire field, and as the player, you can only see a certain amount. So I tell you what I can see and teach you. That's how I view my job. Teach you how your body works and how to add health. I'm an international speaker. I have a food and health blog. It's drtandacook.com. As Melanie said, it's there's a lot of information on there, and I hope it helps you guys. I'm the co-author of Food That Grows and an independent consultant for Arbonne and a sustainable farmer. Just to give you an idea of my life in Bozeman, Justin and I have just over 5 acres in the river bottom, and I'm committed to being as close to my food as possible so that I can then go out in the field and teach you guys how it works, right? So we have a 36 by 36 garden. We have a really big greenhouse, and we raise chickens, ducks, turkeys. We have goats, horses, dogs, and anything that and my husband hunts, as you can see in that bottom corner, and anything that we don't raise, we outsource. We're not able to do pigs, so we outsource pigs. And we can a lot of our own food. So, briefly, I went to naturopathic medical school. We moved to Bozeman, Montana. And in 2010, I call it my Arbonne intervention. So there are two options for naturopaths when we graduate from school. You either start a clinic or you join one. So my friend and I started a clinic, and I was seeing very quickly that it was trading time for money. And I was going to hit that glass ceiling incredibly fast. And with the lots of numbers of debt over my head from school, I was going to have to work until the day I died. And that sounded not awesome. So Arbonne came into my life by the way of Lori Muirhead. She's one of the Flip Flop CEOs. She was vacationing in Montana, and I met her, and she told me about Arbonne. And honestly, I joined the business because of the business and the people, and the products came third. And the more I've learned about Arbonne's philosophy, and Arbonne's commitment to pure, safe, and beneficial, you guys, I will say this throughout this presentation, Arbonne's got your back, okay? These products are extraordinary. And I was asked a while back, and Melanie, we should do a webinar on this one, but I was asked a while back to go through the products with a fine-tooth comb and teach you guys how the products work. And in doing that, I really discovered that the products are really looking out to add health as gently and efficiently as possible. So really, these products are awesome. We're going to go through why, and Arbonne's got your back. So I learned about network marketing and how there was no glass ceiling. So I was hooked. So when I give presentations in front of rooms of 100 people or so, say there's 100 people in the room, I ask these questions, right? So I say, raise your hand if you or someone you know has had an organ removed. And know that most people say that, they raise their hand. And then you or someone you know has a chronic disease diagnosis. Most people raise their hand. You or someone you know takes prescription medications. Well, then by the end of that, the entire room is raised their hand, right? And then I ask people to raise their hand if you or someone you know is living the life of their dreams. And in a room full of about 100 people, most of the room puts their hands down. And we need a new normal, right? That we're considering that 70% of Americans are overweight or obese normal. Cancer is normal. Eating at home is normal. And we eat 170 pounds of sugar per person per year. So I've been doing these talks for a while, and it used to be 135 pounds. And in the several years that I've been doing this, it's gone up. And then 80% of money spent on healthcare is spent in the last year of life. And know that that's not quality of life, guys. That's trying to keep somebody alive. And that medical bills are the #1 reason for bankruptcy in the United States. This is what we're all considering normal. I beg to differ. So what I'm committed to is educating you guys how to create a new normal. So what is health? We use this word a lot. And I don't think there's really a clear understanding of what health is. I think people are very familiar with what disease is. When I had my practice in 2010 and 2011, I would ask my patients this, and they would say, health is the absence of something, right? Like health is me getting up without back pain. Health is me not having a migraine. I got that. And health is so much more than that. And disease, it's very easy for people to define. So I think before we even start this conversation about adding health to your life, we need to define it. So to start the conversation, I asked this question. Many of you have heard me say this, and I just think it's a good analogy. So I would ask my patients, how do you light a dark room? And they would say, I turn on a light, or I use my cell phone, or I've had several teenage girls tell me that they just smile, and it makes me crack up. The point is you have to add light such that darkness then doesn't exist, okay? There's no anti-darkness machine that came in and sucked all the darkness out and ta-da, there's light. We had to add light such that darkness doesn't exist. And I view health and disease the exact same way, right? When I hear disease, I just know there's not enough health being added. So how do you define health? So the Webster's definition is the state of being free from illness or injury. The WHO in '94 defined it as state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. And all that's well and good. when I was in medical school, we defined it as homeostasis. That's kind of a geeky 8th grade science word. So I boiled it down to balance and freedom, because with balance, with your body being balanced, and what I mean by that is you give it information, right? You're putting things in it every day and on it and thinking things, right? So we're feeding it, we're drinking water, we're moving it, and we're thinking thoughts, and we're putting stuff on our skin. With all of that information, our body then holds onto what it needs and then will let go of what it doesn't need, right? That's balance. That's the ideal homeostatic world. Then with that balanced body and balanced mind, you are then free to do what it is that God put you here to do. Because ultimately, that's what I'm interested in. I love talking about food, but I'm way more interested in knowing what you want to do with your life and who you are. And I feel often we're distracted by disease or symptoms. So then how do you add health, or how do you add light, right? This is what you have to do on a daily basis with your life. Now, you guys, these 8 things, if you did them and actually did them, you wouldn't need a doctor, okay? This is called following nature's laws. So it's the foods that we choose to eat and eating consciously, and we'll get more into that. And notice I did not say diet. Why? Because diet to me sounds like restriction, counting calories, temporary. It sounds awful. It sounds like die. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in teaching you to eat food. Then the way we move our body, notice it does not say exercise. So for me, exercise means running on a treadmill, which for those gym rats out there, more power to you, but it's not my gig, right? My form of moving my body is my horses. So then what we choose to drink. And the rule of thumb is half your body weight in ounces of water a day. And what counts as water? Right, water. Coffee does not count as water. Then how we breathe. And then how many breaths per day? Ideally, it's 100 conscious deep breaths a day. Our lungs are an extraordinary organ and allow our body to eliminate toxicity. And so many of us breathe like this and not with our belly, right? We're not fully using our lungs. So conscious deep breathing, then how we sleep, and ideally it would be 7.5 to 9.5 hours a night. And I often get eye rolling when I say that, but that's ideal, okay? This is all, if you were gonna do these things on a daily basis, you would be extraordinarily healthy. So then how you eliminate or detox physically and emotionally, okay? And physically, bowel movements ideally is 1 to 3 times a day. And then how you play and enjoy your life. And again, this is really what I'm interested in. And this is, fill your life with Arbonne. Okay, the 2 bottom ones can actually go together, right? Arbonne has taught me more about play than I ever thought. Okay, so let's dive into food. So the standard American diet, the circle on the left-hand side, is abbreviated the SAD diet, which I love. It's appropriate. This is how typical Americans eat. So it says added 17% added sugar and 24% added fat. And it says added because we're eating a lot of processed foods. And when you process a food, you strip it of its nutrients, and then you have to throw a bunch of stuff back into it to make it taste like a thing, right? So we add a lot of fat and add a lot of sugar to processed foods. Then 23% grains, a little bit of fruit and vegetables, and then some dairy, meat, nuts, and eggs, okay? So I'm gonna, sweeping generalization, the plate on the left-hand side is not adding health to most American lives. Then before I found Arbonne, this is the plate that I designed with my business partner, Sarah Marshall. So we were discovering that when people ate mostly vegetables and some fruit as 50% of their plate, 25% meats, fats, and eggs, and then 15% nuts, seeds, beans, and gluten-free grains, that was adding health, right? People were seeing extraordinary difference in their physical well-being. Now, the X factor is 10%, and that's called life, right? Because creme brulee happens. I actually had somebody on Facebook the other day text or post a picture of creme brulee and said, Tanda, this happened. Because it does. It fits in your mouth. It tastes super awesome. I just don't want you to do it on a daily basis, right? Because that won't add health. But the occasional creme brulee, have at it. Don't beat yourself up and enjoy it. So this is the plate that Sarah and I designed before we found Arbonne. And after we found Arbonne, Arbonne's plate looks almost identical to that. The parallel with naturopathic medicine and the philosophy that Arbonne has is truly extraordinary, right? Arbonne's got your back. So let's define whole food. I ask this question, and what do you think I get most of the time? It's a grocery store. Yes, that is correct. And Whole Foods, somebody said to me once that Whole Foods are colorful, and I said, yes, so are gumballs. So let's all get on the same page when I say what are whole foods. So the USDA defines them as unprocessed or unrefined. Good, great. Or, the caveat, unprocessed and unrefined as possible. You don't really know what that means. Other definitions are anything a caveman would recognize as food, anything your great or great-great-grandmother would recognize as food, real food versus food-like substances, food that grows, and then my definition is if you can, pick it from the ground, you can pull it from a tree, you can shoot it or catch it, that's a whole food. A food in its whole form. So we'll buzz through proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. So why do we need protein? So proteins are the building blocks of your body to make muscles and ligaments and cartilage and hormones and neurotransmitters and enzymes. And you hear the essential amino acids. That when you hear the word essential, it means we have to consume it from the outside world. Because we are omnivores, means we have to consume a variety of things to build our body and to make it go, right? We're not plants, we don't photosynthesize, and we're not koalas, and we can't just live on eucalyptus. Although I know some of you wish you could just be that easy. It's not. So what sources of protein are best for the body? I have noticed that animal proteins like meat, pork, fish, poultry, and eggs really help the body win. Then the vegetable proteins like beans, gluten-free grains, yeast, and pea proteins are also a super awesome addition. The caveat here is it matters where it comes from. You guys, when we'll get into that when we talk about fats, animals that are being raised commercially are not adding health. Animals that are being raised on farms locally are adding health. Okay, so what about fat? We have to have fats. And I was raised in the fat-free craze, so I know often when I say the word fat, people cringe. We have to consume this. They are the building blocks of our cell membranes, and they are essential for nerve and brain tissue and immune cells, and they are a precursor to many of our hormones. And they're also the fats. We have to have fats present so we can absorb the fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. And then we cannot properly absorb and utilize minerals like calcium and magnesium without fat present. So my favorite sources of fat, from healthy animals, beef, poultry, game, seafood, and butter, right? And then organic olive oils, avocados, and coconut oil. I just did a blog post on the importance and super awesome uses for coconut oil, so check that out. It's drtandacook.com. That'll help you guys. And then like proteins, it absolutely matters where you're getting your fats. And this is why. So our bodies are exposed to toxicities in two different ways, okay? So there's the internal toxicity and the external toxicity. The internal toxicity is each one of our cells metabolizes, right? It's like, lack of a better analogy, our cells are like pooping and peeing into our system, and then our body has to let that go through the doorways of the body, which are our lungs through breath, our kidneys through urine, our GI and liver through feces, and our skin through sweat. Right? So those are the big doors of the body. Because if you're in a house and there's a fire, you want to go out the doors. That's the most logical place. So the body knows that this was happening, right? That we're automatically going to be set up to deal with toxicity. So it created these doors. So that's the internal way. Then the external, the external way we're exposed to toxicity is through the air that we're breathing, the foods that we're eating, what we're putting on our skin. Okay? Again, the body was set up to win, right? So those doors, when working optimally, it's perfect. We can, eat food, our body will hold on to what it needs and let go of what it doesn't through those doors. So, sweeping generalization, I'm going to say that most Americans are not taking those 100 conscious deep breaths a day. They're not drinking half their body weight in ounces of water a day. They're not eliminating 1 to 3 times a day, and they're not sweating on a daily basis. So just for the sake of argument, I'm going to say most humans in the Western societies are not supporting their organs of elimination. So what happens is the body goes, well, okay, if the doors are clogged, then what's the next logical place to go? If you're in a house on a fire, you go through the windows, right? So the windows of the body are the mucous membrane. So when I start to hear vaginitis, sinusitis, bronchitis, a lot of the itises, I know that the doors of the body are pretty much jammed and the body's trying to put the toxicity out through the windows. We keep doing what we're doing. We keep breathing the air that we're breathing. We keep eating the processed foods that we're eating, and we keep putting junk on our skin. Then the body goes, well, the toxicity levels keep building in our body, so we need to put them somewhere, right? The body does not want to put toxins in the vital organs because they're called vital for a reason. I said that last night. So the body goes, well, what do we do then? So it came up with this inert place called adipose tissue or fat cells. It's like bubble wrap for toxins. So the body said, sweet, we're going to stick the toxicity in the fat cells and we'll deal with it later. So we do that as mammals. The animals that we're consuming do the exact same thing. So then when we're eating animals that are raised in toxic environments, where are they putting their toxins? Right, in their fat, which is why it is so worth the investment in your health to buy organic, pasture-raised animals and fats. You guys, I know organic and local is expensive, and honestly, buy local before you buy organic if you can. I know it can be pricier than the commercially raised stuff, so put your dollars towards fats. That's really my biggest shtick on if you're going to buy anything local and organic, buy the fats and meats. So what to purchase? So organic pasture butter, organic raised eggs, or find a farmer down the road that you can get the eggs from, and then organic pasture raised meats. So there are two websites, eatlocal.com and no, it's it's localharvest.org and eatwild.com. Those two websites will hook you up with farmers near you. Okay, so carbohydrates. Why do we need carbohydrates? So the primary purpose is really just to make energy. We have the complex carbohydrates found in fruits and vegetables, and then the simple carbohydrates mostly found in processed foods and sugars. So I'm going to say this: our brain is why do we need carbohydrates? Right? Why do we need glucose in our blood? It feeds our body, but our brain is like the glucose monster. It like loves glucose. I was reading the other day, it's something like, you guys are going to Google this and say I'm wrong, but something like 25% of the glucose in our body goes to our brain. So when our body is starving, it's our brain, it's the first one that says, I'm starving, feed me. So eat lots of veggies and some fruits. Notice we say eat your fruits and vegetables. I want you to flip-flop that and say eat your vegetables and fruits, because fruit is still what? Right, sugar. So it's not that fruits are bad, but I just want you guys to just focus on eating more vegetables than fruit. Okay, so the avoid list. This is the foods that I have noticed not adding health to people's lives are avoiding processed foods. And when I say processed foods, it's essentially the middle of the grocery store. It's things that come in boxes. It's things that come in their not natural form, right? That's not from the earth. And I'm going to say that I've had people say, Tanda, if there was one food you would tell somebody not ever to eat, what would it be? And first of all, everything in the grocery store fits in our mouth. So it still becomes about choice. I don't like saying nevers or can'ts around food because it's still about conscious choice. And that being said, I will say my least favorite are diet foods. Anything that says diet, low fat, fat-free, 0 calorie, all of that, has been wildly manipulated and most likely has artificial sweeteners in it, which are poison to the body. Okay, so really avoid diet foods. And then the food sensitivities list, ultimately listen to your body. And the foods that I have noticed triggering the immune system and causing inflammation are gluten, dairy, soy, sugar, alcohol, and caffeine, are kind of the big guns. And we'll get into why R1 is got your back, because they knew this. And then sugar, soft drinks, sports drinks, fruit juices, and dried fruit is on there because I often get questions about that. If you're sitting in front of a bowl of fresh apricots, how many would you eat? Like 1 or 2, maybe. If you're sitting in front of a bowl of dried apricots, how many are you going to eat? Probably like 10. So the point of putting dried fruit on there is it's like a very hidden source of sugar that people don't often think about. So just FYI on dried fruits. So why avoid these foods? Especially with gluten and dairy, there's been all sorts of controversy out there. I'm going to say this. The biggest reason is that those foods have been noted to trigger the inflammatory response in the body. And if that is done over over a long period of time, which is called chronic, disease will arise, okay? So if you guys look at that picture, so chronic inflammation can lead to cancer, cardiovascular disease, pulmonary disease, arthritis. I mean, the list, that's just a small list of things that can eventually end up as a result in your body after chronic inflammation. So if we can give our body the foods that will help support our immune system, not trigger our immune system, your body will win. So before I found Arbonne, I found Arbonne in 2010. I started medical school in 2005. So I was seeing these deficiencies sort of chronically in my patients even before I found Arbonne, okay? So prebiotic, probiotic, and enzymes, and we need these, briefly, probiotics are the beneficial bacteria in our gut, and they help us break down and digest our food, absorb nutrients, and they're a key component in our immune system. If I had one supplement for all human beings, it would be probiotics. We need them. Like, they are a part of us. And if we're not replenishing them on a daily basis, take them daily, please, then our immune systems suffer, our absorption and utilization of the food that we're eating suffers. So please take the probiotics. The prebiotics, that just means it's food for the bacteria. Bacteria are alive. They need to eat. So the prebiotics help the probiotics live. And then the enzymes, and you'll see in Arbonne's, anything that ends in ACE, ASE, that's an enzyme. So enzymes help us break down our food, okay? So that was a deficiency I was seeing before Arbonne. Fish oil and omega-3s. We need omega-3 and omega-6. They are essential fatty acids, right? Remember, when we hear the word essential, it means we have to consume it from the outside world. We have to have omega-3 and omega-6. Briefly, omega-6 pushes the inflammatory pathway, right? Because we have to have inflammation. When you cut yourself, you need inflammation to help that heal. Omega-3 pushes the anti-inflammatory pathway. So when we cut ourselves and the inflammation subsides, the anti-inflammatory pathway comes in to help the body fully heal. We eat a lot of processed food, which is high in omega-6 oils, okay? Because they're essential fatty acids, they're found in fats, typically oils. A lot of the omega-6s are found in canola oil, safflower oil, corn oil, vegetable oil. All of those oils that help processed foods have a stable shelf life. Those are very high in omega-6s, and we're eating a lot of those kinds of foods. So the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 is off in our body, right? So we're eating a lot of inflammation and not enough anti-inflammation. So I was seeing a deficiency in the omega-3s. The vitamin B complexes. So when we are under the stress response, when our body goes into that fight or flight, it uses those B vitamins to help our body run or fight, right? That's fight or flight, that's stress. Our bodies were designed to run from that tiger like once every 3 to 6 months back in, caveman days. And now we're running from a proverbial tiger, if I'm honest, like 24/7. So the B vitamins are depleted from our body. Also, when we eat processed foods, processed carbohydrates, those simple carbohydrates, it costs our body B vitamins to consume those, right? When we eat carbohydrates, we use B vitamins to help us break them down. So when we're eating something like a sweet potato and, with all sorts of super awesome pasture-raised butter and a bison burger, all of the B vitamins and the carbohydrates and vitamins and nutrients are all in that meal to help our body absorb all of that nutrients. If you sit down to, a bowl of cereal, and there's carbohydrates in there too, but they've been processed and stripped of their nutrients, our body, uses our store of B vitamins to break those carbohydrates down. It's making sense. They're called anti-nutrients when we eat processed foods. It's costing our body B vitamins when we eat junk, okay? So I was noticing the B complex, not only because B complexes are deficient because we're chronically stressed out and we're eating processed foods. So, and then vitamin D is across the board deficient. I am incredibly conscious when I say this, you guys. I have never seen a normal vitamin D level in any of my patients. And that's been since I've started, over the past almost 10 years, I have not seen a normal. And the best source of vitamin D is actually the sunshine, and we become gun shy around the sun. So vitamin D has been deficient as well. Okay, so now I'm going to dive into Arbonne Parallel. So again, I found Arbonne in 2010. And their commitment is to pure, safe, and beneficial, which they have stuck to and have for 35 years. And it has been extraordinary to watch. They're botanically based, gluten-free, vegan. There's no testing on animals, and they're pH balanced. So the 30 Days to Fit program was introduced in 2011 at their global convention in Vegas. And I joined in the summer of 2010, and I went to the global convention in Vegas in 2011 in January. So I was a brand new consultant. I was not even a DM yet, a district manager. And I was sitting in the nosebleed section, like just in awe of this company. And then I hear the word, 30 Days to Fit program and detox. And as a naturopathic doctor, I immediately got skeptical. I'm not going to lie. I was sitting there going, this is not going to go well. Because normally when people hear the word detox, they think what? It's extremes, right? Like there's fasting involved, and it's forceful, and it's temporary, and this wasn't lifestyle. It normally is not lifestyle focused. It's a temporary thing, okay? So I'm sitting in the nosebleed sections at the MGM in Vegas being incredibly skeptical. And then as Arbonne started to talk about the philosophy around their detox, around the philosophy around the 30 Days to Fit program, I was shocked. And this is why. So the 5 areas that they were, or 6, I added that last one. The 6 areas that they were focusing on is eating whole foods, that this was not a detox temporary thing. This was a lifestyle shift, okay? Increasing nutrient absorption. Arbonne said that day in Vegas, it's not what you eat, it's what you absorb. Okay, we think if we're shoveling stuff in our face, we're absorbing everything. And I promise you, based on how most humans are eating under stress, we're not absorbing it. So all of Arbonne's products are incredibly absorbable because Arbonne knew that. Okay, it's like Arbonne's got your back. So awesome. Eliminating the allergenic and addictive foods, right? The gluten, dairy, soy, sugar, alcohol, and caffeine were the ones that they were focusing on. Well, you better believe that as a naturopath, before I found Arbonne, those were the foods that I was focusing on with my patients to eliminate at least for 30 days, okay? Just so we can pay attention to how we're feeling. Helping us balance our blood sugar. Most of our blood sugars are all over the place, which puts stress on the adrenal glands, stress on our liver, and stress on our brain, okay? Arbonne knew this. So all of their products are help the adrenal glands specifically balance blood sugar. Supporting the organs of elimination and natural detoxification. We'll go into that in a sec. And then teaching you to listen to your body, which is blew my mind, right? So why and who would consider the 30 Days to Fit? Pretty much everyone, right? Signs of toxicity, signs that you even could consider doing this: anxiety, depression, headaches, seasonal allergies, food allergies, osteopenia, chronic pain, PMS, hot flashes. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And these are signs that your body is not getting enough health, right? Go back to that health, the darkness and light thing. The body is not getting the information it needs to be its best thing. So when I heard this analogy, your body is a bathtub, I learned in medical school, and it made a lot of sense in medical school. And then the fact that Arbonne talks about this as well, again, floored me. So imagine your body is a bathtub and you're putting stuff into it, right? Like food and water and sunshine and stuff on your skin. And then that fills your bathtub up. Well, then we have those 4 drains of the body: the kidneys, the skin, the lung, the eye. That's how our body's letting go of the stuff that it doesn't need and holding on to what it does to build your bathtub. That's balance, right? That's what it works. But as we said earlier, sweeping generalization, most humans are not supporting those 4 organs of elimination. So they get a bit clogged. Well, you keep putting stuff in, the toxicity's got to go somewhere, and it just starts to build up, right? So these are symptoms. That's the slide that was just before, signs of toxicity. That's your body just warning you. That's going, pay attention, please. We're not getting the right information. And as we said, most humans are not paying attention. And we keep doing what we're doing, we keep getting what we're getting, and then eventually you'll end up with some sort of disease diagnosis. The other thing, as I said earlier, as Arbonne said, is we're not what we eat, we're what we absorb, and how most are eating under stress, which is not, does not set the body up optimally to absorb nutrients. So the 30 days to fit, so what does this entail? And so it's typical that the typical day is 2 protein shakes, one usually for breakfast and for lunch, and those are complete meal replacements. They taste super awesome. They're gluten-free, which I love. And then you do a whole foods meal in the end, focusing on eliminating gluten, dairy, soy, sugar, alcohol, and caffeine for 30 days. You can do anything for 30 days. There's also a detox tea, which helps the liver and the kidneys. So when I went through the products with a fine-tooth comb, and Peter Matravers, he's the formulator for Arbonne. He formulates all the products. If you were to put me in a room and Peter in a room and said, make a detox tea, 1, 2, 3, go, I would have come up with the exact same formulation as Peter did. I mean, the tea is one of my favorite products. It very gently helps the liver and the kidneys eliminate toxicity. The Fizz Sticks, which is acts as more of a coffee or a soda replacement. There's a little bit of caffeine in there. It's all botanically derived, so the pH is different. It's not as acidic as coffee. It's more alkaline. And then there's B vitamins in there to help our adrenals. The Fiber Boost, which aids in digestion. They're the Fit Chews, which are the little chewy snacks, to help the adrenal glands. And then there are the probiotics. Okay, why this program works. Ultimately, it allows the body and all of that inflammation, that inflammatory process that we talked about earlier, it allows the body to just breathe, like take the stress off the immune system with the foods that you've been eating, or, even if you're skipping breakfast and you're like, oh, I know I eat healthy, but you skip breakfast and then you have, a granola bar lunch and then, a salad or something for dinner, that still puts stress on the body because you're skipping meals and you're probably not eating enough, right? This program works because it helps the body balance blood sugar, eliminate the toxic foods, and helps you pay attention to what foods are working for you and what are not working for you. One of the best stories around this program is that my baby sister was born into this world allergic, and she does not mind me sharing this story. So she was born into this world allergic, and as I was learning more about nutrition and food, I told her, I was like, Chapin, I really think dairy is an issue for you. And she was like, no, it's not. Of course, what was she eating? It was like cheese and yogurt and cottage cheese and ice cream and cream cheese and bagels. And so the 30 days, she had denied it forever. And the 30 days to fit came into our life. And I said, baby, please just do this. So she and her husband did it. And on the 31st day, she ate pizza. It was gluten-free crust with cheese. And she had a stomach ache for 3 days. And she goes, wow, apparently dairy is an issue for me. And this isn't a diet, it's a lifestyle shift. I thought I was driving to work that day and I thought I was going to drive off the road. I mean, yes, that is the game. Pay attention to how food is affecting you. And then it becomes about choice. It's not right or wrong. It's not good or bad. It's choice. And then Arbonne, how it's in alignment with my top 4 essentials, right? Remember the deficiencies that I was seeing in medical school Arbonne's got you lined up for these. So there's the B12 and complex found in their liquid spray and the fizz sticks. Then the vitamin D, also found in their spray. And then their prebiotics, probiotics, and enzymes. Everyone needs to be on a probiotic. I really don't care who you are, what age you're at. Everyone needs to be on these products, on the probiotics. And then the omega-3 found in their omega plus formula. So now I am committed to teaching people about food and health because I love it. And Arbonne has taught me so much as well. And ultimately, that there's this 30-day thing called a bridge. And it's going from the standard American diet to a whole foods lifestyle. It's a shift into consciousness. That this is not, when I was in practice and I would tell a mother of 3 to stop eating gluten and dairy, she would look at me like I was nuts. And it was like I was pulling the rug out from under her. You guys, this Arbonne 30 Days to Fit kit is the rug. It's easy. It's a no-brainer, right? It's the bridge from unconscious eating to conscious eating. And then with conscious eating comes conscious living. And then you get to really play. So, as I said earlier, doctor is teacher, or Arbonne is also teacher. This company is 100% dedicated to transforming people's lives with these products and the compensation plan. That there's a company committed to their philosophy of pure, safe, and beneficial. And it was 35 years ago. That's how long I've been doing these. Not 33 years ago. 35 years of them being completely committed to pure, safe, and beneficial. And that really their mission is to equip us with powerful solutions for people to add health. And it's honestly, this company has taught me more about leadership than anything. So you guys, after this, I know I've thrown a lot at you. What do you see as possible, right? What opened up? I really don't want this to be another, random webinar that you listen to. It's like, what in your life is now possible with the 30 Days to Fit? If you've done the 30 days, go share it with somebody else. If you're intimidated by doing the 30 days, I challenge you to do it, because it's only 30 days. And I promise you, you will feel and look and act and think so different on the other end of that 30 days. So what one action step are you willing to take? And the last thing is that this company was my catalyst, right? In 2010, I thought I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. And then Arbonne came into my life and completely sent me on a different path. And thank God it did, because I eat, sleep, and breathe this way of living and this way of thinking and this company. And I am so honored to be here with you guys today. And I hope this is helpful. And I'm going to leave you with this quote. So I was in my 3rd year of medical school and I wanted to quit. So my husband was like, okay, no, let's pump the brakes on that. So I went to, this one night I went to my bookshelf and I kind of intuited what it was that I was supposed to read that night to help me get through this 3rd year of med school. And I found this book by Marianne Williamson and I read this quote and it really hit me hard, because this is my biggest fear. And I find most people's fears, that is not that we're inadequate, that our deepest fear is we are powerful beyond measure. And I would love for you guys to really embrace that. And any questions, thoughts, where you guys are stuck, if there's anything unclear on this webinar, just shoot me. You can contact me through my website, which is drtandacook.com. And then my cookbook that's also in alignment with the 30 Days to Fit plan is Food That Grows, and you can find that now on Amazon. So I hope that was helpful, and this was super awesome. I want to do way more of these. So Melanie, I don't know if you want to take it away.
Yes, I do. I do want to take it away, and I just want to thank you so much. I learn every time I hear from you something else. And I just want to also say how good the cookbook is, because I hate to cook. I know you love to cook. And my favorite recipe is the roasted root vegetables, and that made it easy for me to feed my family vegetables that they liked. So I'd encourage y'all to try that one out. The only thing that I really want to add is that I hope that everybody that listened tonight and saw the webinar, that you would really consider, just like Tanda said, trying the 30 Days to Fit. We have a 45-day money-back guarantee. and the detox is only 30 days. So you really can't lose by doing the 30 days to fit. So, you know, what you have to lose is maybe some pounds or maybe not. What you stand to gain is so much more. And so what I do, so I'm going to share something from my screen. Some of you might be thinking, okay, so how do I do the detox? And Tanda went over the things that you would need for the detox. And so the other things that you would, the packages, I guess that you would say, you have a basic package, and this is not really enough to do the whole detox, but it's to put your toe in and to try it, or maybe do it for, you know, a couple weeks or something. And so that is 1 bag of a shake, vanilla or chocolate, and you would get 30 shakes out of that. 1 box of the detox tea, which is 20 bags. The fiber that she talked about that has enough for a whole month. The Digestion Plus, and then the cleanse, the 7-day cleanse. And around here we have a 7% tax. That ends up being about $150. You get to be a preferred client, which gives you 20% off for the rest of the year. This middle package is doing the whole detox. And so the whole detox, it would give you 2 bags of shake, one chocolate, 1 vanilla. It would give you the bag of fiber. It would give you 2 boxes of the fig sticks, 1 of the pomegranate, 1 of the citrus, which gives you 40. So it gives you some extras in case you need more than 1 a day. The Digestion Plus, 2 boxes of the detox tea, and that gives you 40. So it gives you some extra. The cleanse, and you get to pick another free product. And again, our tax is about 7%, and so that ends up being about $250 with tax and shipping. So if you look at that, you're getting 60 meals plus all the other things. I mean, 40 hot teas, 40 energy drinks, a probiotic, all that would cost way more. And even if you just look at the meals, I mean, you cannot go to McDonald's or Wendy's and eat for that low amount. It's just normally you don't buy 60 meals at the same time. And we have the 45-day money-back guarantee. So, of course, that is our best deal. You can, a great other free, for the free product, a great health product is our greens that you can add to your shake that gives you another serving of fruits and vegetables. There's some other things, and you know, whoever asked you to hop on or watch this recording can help you pick out your free. And then at the bottom, it's those add-ons, and those fit shoes are there. The great thing about the middle package is you get to be a preferred client for free with that, which lets you get 20% off for the rest of the year. And then I just want to switch over really quickly. And this is the 3 different ways you can buy the products. You can buy them at full price, which would be silly if you were going to do the detox. So you would want to do that, the $20 and get 20% off, or get it for free. And then the third way is if you're like, well, I want to do this, and I want my husband to do it, and I want my daughter to do it. It's only $79 to be a consultant with Arbonne, and then you can get things between 35. We for sure get 35% off everything, but can get up to 50 and even higher than that. And Tanda really covered, you know, what's so great about Arbonne. But as far as the opportunity, this is what I always like to tell people. If you have never done the detox and you have no idea what it's going to do for you, then you have no idea how many people might also want to do this after you do it. So you might be thinking, this business is not for me, but the detox is for me. So the only thing I want you to think about is that there is money to be made, that somebody makes money when people buy a detox. So if you do it, the first time I did this detox, I lost 17 pounds in 4 weeks. I had a lot, and I'm not making any medical claims, but I had a lot of joint pain go away, and I felt incredible. My husband lost 27 pounds. Now, he exercised, and I did not. I know I need to work on that, Tanda. But he just said after 2 weeks he felt like a completely different person. He said, I feel like I'm walking on air. And so just he felt so much better. So people were walking up to him at work and saying, what are you doing? How are you doing that? How did you lose all that weight? So if I was not doing it for a business, somebody else would have made the money. So I just want you to know it's only $79 to do it as a business if you have phenomenal results and decide, hey, I do want to share this with other people. Now, if you don't want to do it as a business, we'll get you some happies for sharing it with other people. And basically, this is just some averages of what you could make. Because some people will be like, well, that might be worth the time, but it might not be. And, Tanda mentioned district managers is the first level of management, and they make between $240 and $1,500 a month. And as a former school teacher, $1,500 a month is incredible money. As a doctor, not so much. Area managers, they make between $1,200 and really way above $3,000 up to $4,000 to $5,000 a month. You can will your business at that level. Regional vice presidents make between $4,000 and $10,000. I've seen a few make a little bit more than that. The average is about $5,000 a month. They pay you to drive a white Mercedes at that point. It's an incredible level of income that's residual. That is only working 10 to 15 hours a week. And the national vice presidents, their average is $21,500 a month. And so that is just for sharing products, and people can shop online when you share the products with them. So where you are today is you might want to think about ordering the products and doing the 30 days to fit with us. You might want to grab a couple friends and ask them if they want to do it with you. You can let them watch this webinar, which is what's awesome. Or if you want to get a couple people together, the person that asked you to watch this webinar could serve samples and talk to you and answer your questions for you. Or maybe you think, I saw this, and not only do I want to do the 30 days to fit, but I want to do Arbonne with y'all. So, whichever would be your choice, we would be happy to help you with those. And Tanda, I just cannot thank you enough for doing this with us. And we always look forward to hearing your calls and your webinars. I would love to do the webinar about you going through the products. So me and Tracy will be in contact with you about doing that. Is there anything else you want to add at the end? Okay.
No, I love this game. You guys are extraordinary. And it's been a real gift watching so many teams around North America transform their lives with this program. It's been awesome, and awesome to be a part of it. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And I hope everybody has a great day, and thanks for jumping on our webinar.